Is the New Hampshire real estate market crashing? Is it cooling off, or is it still red hot? In this video, I'm going to break down what's been happening over the summer. So whether you're buying, selling, or just watching the market, you can make the right, correct move. Hi, and welcome to my channel. My name is Shane Moynihan. I'm a local real estate agent and investor based out of Keene, New Hampshire. And if you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in the area, just feel free to reach out. Or down below in the description, I have a link to my calendar where you can book a free 30-minute call and we can kind of discuss what your home buying goals are, home selling goals, plans. If you're looking to relocate, all that good stuff, I'd be happy to help answer. So feel free to book that down below. But let's dive into what the New Hampshire real estate market's up to this summer. So the real estate market has definitely been shifting throughout the summer. We're actually seeing a little bit of an increase of inventory, which is good to see. We're still below where we were pre-pandemic, pre-2020, but we are seeing more and more houses hit the market, which is always a pleasant sight to see. While also seeing inventory increase by just a little bit, we're also seeing days on market increase by just a little bit. Now, I think the reason days on market is increasing is something I'll be touching on in a little bit later, but it's a lot to do with pricing and how people are actually pricing their house when they go to list and what number they land on, because it's either bringing buyers in and still being a red hot market, or it's kind of making buyers ignore that property for a little bit and showing them the cold shoulder. Because buyer activity is still really strong, especially when you're under like the $450,000 mark. It's kind of that first time home buyer position where they can still afford it. You're in the biggest bulk of competition, I would say. And if the homes are priced correctly in that price range, they're still moving off the shelf very quickly. Some are going within the first weekend, still with a few bidding wars. Others will go within the first week. But if they're not going within that first week and they're not on the red hot plate of wanting to get snatched up by a buyer, we're actually seeing more price cuts than usual. Over the last few months, we've seen about 20 to 25% of homes listed here in New Hampshire actually have a price cut, which is something we have not seen in a few years, because it seemed whatever a seller listed their home at, that they were going to get at least that and more in the past couple of years. But things are finally starting to shift a little bit and easing down just a touch. So what does these couple points mean? It means as a seller, you really have to pay attention to your pricing, understand what you can get in this market, and actually be able to move your house quickly. As a buyer, you're actually getting a little bit more breathing room to go look at houses and have a little bit of time, depending on the house, to think about an offer before putting it in and having to just force your hand like the market was making you do a couple years ago. That anything that hit the market on midweek, Wednesday, Thursday was gone by Monday afternoon. So we are getting a little bit more breathing room for you as the buyer. Now, with a couple of those things I showed you, it's a little bit contradicting, because we're seeing some things go up like inventory and days on market, but we're also seeing some things go up like our price point. New Hampshire just keeps hitting new higher price points of our average sales, which is kind of weird to see when things are sitting on the market a little bit. Sellers are having a little bit harder time pricing their house. So seeing these are a little bit contradicting. But a big thing that's fueling that right now is just a lot of it has to do with housing rates, but also housing inventory, because rates right now are about 6.5% to 8%, which, depending on what you're currently at, it can be a really big jump. Even if you do want to say upgrade your house, it can be a really big jump if you have a mortgage that's 3.5%, 4%, and then having to go get not only a higher interest rate, but probably a higher mortgage because you're going to go get a bigger house. So a lot of those people are still weary of selling and wondering if they should, because it's like, does it make sense to do that much of a cost jump just to go into a new house? So the monthly payments on these properties are a lot higher than they were 2 or 3 years ago. While yes, there was a lot more bidding wars, interest rates were a lot lower, meaning that the affordability was still there, kind of. But now that house prices have risen so much and interest rates have risen, some people are just waiting. Some people are waiting to sell because they have that pre-pandemic interest rate. So there's a lot of factors going into this, and I think that's why we're seeing contradicting numbers on the actual stats showing things like days on market going up, but price points going up at the same time, where it seems like we should have a little bit less of a price point if things are staying on a little bit longer. If 25% of listings are having price drops, I feel like we should be seeing that number drop instead of continue to climb. Now I just want to jump into a little bit of advice for both the seller side and for the buyer side going into this New Hampshire market, because like I said, it's a little bit weird. It's very, very case by case per house, what it's listed at, condition, how many people are going to be interested. All that stuff really matters in this. So if you're a buyer, biggest thing is, of course, you'll hear it all the time, go get pre-approved, especially with a local lender. It's going to help a ton because local lenders actually know what's happening in this real estate market. They understand what houses are worth, where it'll appraise. They understand all of these little intricacies that bigger banks don't. They say they know, but they really don't, because then they just ignore you for a while until they reach out to you and need things. So local ones are going to be a huge help in getting a smooth closing. Next thing is, as a buyer, yes, it's slowing down a touch, but you still have to be ready to jump on things that look good, because like I said, things are in that price point where it's like a bigger group of people looking. So anywhere under the $450,000 mark, if those houses are priced at the right price, they're gonna go very quick. So as a buyer, you still have to be paying attention, be on your game, and jump on these newer listings, being ready to act quick. And the last point I want to touch on for buyers is, even though we're in a little bit of shift, 25% of people are doing price drops, don't expect a huge, oh, I got this house for a steal kind of feeling. Like, you might be able to get it below listing price, but you're not going to get like $50,000 below listing price unless something's seriously wrong with the property, or it was under contract and they found something seriously wrong. Like, you might be able to get a little bit under, feel like you got a deal and have a win for each side of the party. Now for the sellers, the biggest thing we're touching on here is the price. As a seller, you have to understand where the price is. You can't just be getting what you wanted in 2022 when it was a peak and you could list a $300,000 house for $345,000 and sell it for $385,000. It's not like that anymore. You have to list it at a competitive price so people actually come to your open house, actually come and book showings to see your house. Because if you're pricing it too high, people are already thinking, well, it's going to go higher than that. Why would I even bother with my day to go look at that? They don't understand that, hey, yes, that's at a high listing price, but it's been on the market 14 days. They probably haven't had many showings. Maybe we should try, actually see if they'll take what it's worth. Next is, again, it's having to do with shifting your mindset from that crazy housing market that we had where you could stick the sign in the yard and it's sold. You actually have to do some prep. Things like a fresh paint job, whether that's on the outside of your house, inside of your house. If you have some hideous, harsh colors, just paint it nice and gray or white, something neutral that other people can walk into your house and see their lives in it. And have some curb appeal, especially if you're in these summer, fall months where we can actually see the lawn and see the house instead of the winter when it's all snowy and mucky. So take advantage of the time right now, make it look as best as possible so you can get the top dollar. Now, the last thing I'm kind of going to get into real quick is just a little bit more local for my real estate channel, because of course you know that I live in Keene and I service Cheshire County mainly. So here in Keene, we're seeing a lot of the same trends, except a little bit different price points. So a lot of the houses moving are going to be like 300, 350 and below are the ones that are very quick moving. The ones that are move-in ready, those are still in demand. If you're seeing houses that need work, they might be a little bit longer on the market. Or if you're seeing houses, at least around our area, in a higher price point, typically those are going to have a little bit more days on market anyways, just because of the price point. You're cutting out a lot of the competition, as if you were a $350,000 house or below, where a lot more people are looking. So Keene is looking at the same statewide trend, but it's just a little bit different with the price points. Multifamilies are a little bit harder to come by. I've seen a ton listed in Manchester, Claremont, over the state, but in Keene, they've been few and far between. It's actually been a little bit frustrating, but there has been a few more coming out throughout the year, but not anything like it was a few years ago before the pandemic. But people still like investing over here because rent rates have went up a decent amount over the last few years. But with all this that I'm saying, just understand that a lot of times it's going to be case by case with each house, because this trend is a trend, but it's a trend that works all throughout. Because if you see a very, very nice move-in ready property that has, say it's had all recent upgrades, and it says that in the listing, and it's listed at $300,000, and you're like, oh my, if I can get that for 300, that's the best house out there. It's going to have a bidding war. It's going to go over. So there's certain things, just understanding, having a local real estate agent that you can send a listing to, be like, hey, do we need to look at this today, or can we wait till the weekend? What's your thoughts? I'm very interested. Something like that. So overall, is it a good time to buy? Is it a good time to sell? Honestly, it really depends on your goals and what you're looking for in this real estate market. Like I said in the beginning, I have a link down below to my calendar. Feel free to book a free 30-minute call. If you're really interested in this real estate market, you're looking to do one of the other buy, sell, or invest, I'd be happy to talk you through the pros, the cons, things you should be wary of, things that you really should be on the outlook for, or things to prepare for. Whether you're looking to relocate, buy, sell, whatever it is, I can help walk through that, see if I can add a little more clarity to your plan and see what the next best steps are. Because there really are some great opportunities in this market for both buyers and sellers. It's kind of a win-win market right now, because while yes, prices are steadily increasing with actual house prices, there are opportunities to get listings that are pretty decent below list. So reach out to me if you're super interested. I hope this added a little bit of value, a little insight to the New Hampshire real estate market. We are still pretty hot market overall, but there are also houses that are sitting 20-25% of listings had price drops. That's a ton. So there are opportunities. If this did add some value and you liked it, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. I'll catch you guys next week with another video.